Hey everyone, it's Brandon again from Top10Gamer.com, trying to catch up on all my builds, especially since Skylake is here. It just really changes everything and really doesn't change anything at the same time. It's just one of those conundrums. But today I'm bringing you an Intel i5 $500 to $600 gaming PC build. Now you might be thinking, hey, an i5 here is going to cost around a third of your budget. Why would you do this? Why wouldn't you get something like an i3 and put more of your budget towards your graphics card? Well, the goal here is to get a PC that allows you to upgrade down the road. If you get an i5, you know you're going to be good for 5 years probably. I bought a Sandy Bridge processor a few years ago, and that computer is still great today in terms of gaming. And I really think if you get an i5 here, you'll be good for years to come as well. Now, the choice here is whether you want to go with a Skylake or a Haswell processor. For this build, I'm going to recommend that you go for a Haswell processor because we're in that $500 to $600 range. It doesn't really make sense to upgrade and then spend more not only on the processor but also on the motherboard. It's really going to eat a lot of our budget and really not give us a lot in terms of performance. Specifically for processor, we're going to go with the i5 4460. I'm going to assume that you're not going to overclock here, but certainly you could go with the Hyper 212 Evo and something like the i5 4690K and get a lot of performance. Keep in mind, you're going to be spending $60 more there. So I guess I question whether spending that $60 is worth it there rather than putting it somewhere else, whether it's a 120 gigabyte solid state drive that has your OS and some other important programs, or whether you put that towards your graphics card. So keep that in mind. That was the thought process there. For graphics card here, we're going with the Radeon R7 370 here, a new graphics card around $150. Really a great performer. It's going to get you where you need to go. The Battlefield 4 Ultra preset, you can get about 39 frames per second. Might not seem like a lot, but if you tweak it, go to high, get rid of some of that MSAA, you're going to be in 60 frame territory, no problem. It's going to look great. And if you can deal with this for a couple of years on that $500 to $600 budget, then what this is going to do is just allow you to have more longevity with this computer overall because you went with that i5. And I think you're going to find that that's worth it. Go with the R7 370 here. It's the one to get. Now, for other games, Assassin's Creed high with 4 times MSAA, you've almost got 30 frames, and Total War Rome 2, nearly 30 frames as well. Again, tweaking here is your friend and will result in improved performance. For motherboard, we're going to go with the ASRock H97M Micro ATX motherboard. It's the Pro 4. ASRock really gives you a lot of value for the money you spend, and so in that $70 range, a lot of times I recommend them. And this board is no different. You'll find a lot of people really giving this board a lot of reviews just because it has a lot of features for what you pay. At Newegg right now it's $68 and it's going to be all you need for this build. If you end up going with that 4690K, you might want to go with a Z97 Micro ATX board or something like that. But for our i5 4460, this is going to be just right. Okay, moving on to our memory. This is pretty simple. Go with something that you can get 8 gigabytes with. That's 1600 megahertz. Corsair Vengeance, I found some for $45 to $50, but you can get G.Skill Value or NS at this price point, or some Kingston memory. Just whatever feels good. Anything from those brands is going to be acceptable, is going to be good, and hopefully is going to be cheap. And if it's cheap, go ahead and grab it. Now for storage, get a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Blue Drive. It's what I recommend all the time. Now, one of the reasons for this range of price, the $500 to $600 price range, is because I'm leaving room here for an optional solid state drive. Kingston V300 120 gigabyte solid state drive is only about $50 and will just speed up your computer so much that it's just going to feel so much better if you go ahead and go grab that solid state drive. I really think that you'd be glad that you did that, just in terms of real world performance. Unless you're using this thing just solely as a gaming PC, seems like it's worth it. For power supply, we're going with the CX430 from Corsair. You can also take a look at the EVGA 430 watt and 500 watts options, as well as the Antec EarthWatt or VP-450. All of these are good options in that like $25 to $40 price range. If you can get them on rebate, usually you can get them below $30. that's what I suggest you do. All right, for case, last but not least, we're going with a Silverstone PS08. Really a stunning case for the price that we have left. This is going to be a small form factor build, and Silverstone is one of the best manufacturers out there for those small form factor builds. This particular case gives you an included 120 millimeter front fan and really feels solid all around. I think you'll really like it. There's a ton of other good options out there, but it's the one I'm going to put in this build for right now. Okay, that's all for the i5 build. I know that it's tempting here to not go with the R7 370 and go with something better, you know, like a 960 or something like that. But I think that in the long run, you'll be glad that you have the i5. Sorry, there's still guys working on my basement from earlier today. We're trying to complete our home theater room in our basement. So if you hear the banging or the squealing, it's not kids, nobody's getting hurt or anything like that. It's just people working on my basement. So if you guys have any questions, you can go to facebook.com/top10gamer, forum.top10gamer.com. You can tweet me at top10gamer, or you could just go to my website and look around. There's a lot of good information just at top10gamer.com. Thanks so much for being here. Again, I'd love to answer any questions you have in the comment section below. Go to the description for a link to this article with a parts list and things like that. You can also go to our Amazon links to support the channel, and we'll see you next time.